There are places the world doesn't show you, unless you go quiet. Hidden in the cliffs of Switzerland, Austria, and Norway, ancient villages cling to stone, to snow, and to silence. Lauterbrunnen, where waterfalls fall like sky breaking apart. Murren, where clouds brush your footsteps. Holstadt, a snow globe held in time. Zermatt, resting under 29 frozen giants. And Rena, carved from Arctic silence. No traffic, no crowds, just wind, water, and your own breath. This is not a trip. It's a return to stillness, to time, to something forgotten. Welcome to the edge of the visible world. Hidden in the sheer valley walls of the Alps, Lauterbrunnen, located in the canton of Bern, Switzerland is nature at its most raw and overwhelming. This isn't just a village, it's a massive symphony of stone and water, where waterfalls thunder from sky-high cliffs and echo through the rock. Lauterbrunnen is a call for those who crave a physical and spiritual journey, slow, demanding, but utterly rewarding. And what's hidden within this valley doesn't reveal itself to those who stay at a distance. Staubach Falls delivers the first shock, a waterfall that plunges 984 feet straight from a vertical cliff, crashing like a silver curtain dropped from the sky. It overwhelms the eyes and stuns the senses in one breathtaking moment. Deeper inside the mountains, the Trümmerbach system thunders through 10 underground waterfalls, hidden within rock. These glacial torrents can release over 5,283 gallons every second. They're only accessible during the summer, and only to those willing to seek them out. What appears as a peaceful valley is, in fact, the scar of ancient glaciers. Lauterbrunnen was carved over millennia, leaving behind sheer cliffs rising between 1,312 and 1,968 feet. It's a landscape that speaks of deep time and dramatic force. More than 72 waterfalls exist here, yet many of them remain out of reach, found only via narrow trails or through mountain climbs. They're rewards for those who choose to go beyond the usual path. In the end, you reach the village, a quiet community of about 2,400 people, surrounded by thundering falls and towering rock. Lauterbrunnen offers stillness. In its silence, something within you settles too. Clinging to the vertical cliffs of the Alps, Murren, located in the canton of Bern. Switzerland is a place where humanity and nature breathe as one. No cars, no roads, only cable cars and footpaths threading through drifting clouds, perched at over 5,400 feet. This village is not for the hurried. Murren isn't a destination, it's a state of being, where each step becomes a departure from noise and a descent into deep inner stillness. From Murren, the view opens to the mighty trio Eiger, Monch, and Jungfrau colossal peaks forming a stone wall against the sky. They dominate the horizon and humble everything else in sight. Hidden in the forest lies Sprutz Falls, a rare place where you can walk behind the plunging water. It's an unseen moment, revealed only to those who follow narrow trails into the wild. Few know Murren is the highest year-round inhabited village in the Bern region. sitting at an elevation of over 5,400 feet. It's completely unreachable by road, preserving a raw, untouched presence. On the North Face Trail, you cross alpine meadows with endless vistas and forgotten paths. The trail invites solitude and discovery far from the known routes. At the journey's end, you arrive in a village of about 450 people. Here, time does not move forward, it falls silent. Threading through sheer cliffs and a mirror-still lake, Hallstatt, located in Upper Austria, is not just a destination. It is a slice of time where history and nature intertwine in every corner. Sitting at an elevation of approximately 1,677 feet, this place feels like stepping into a suspended world, untouched by the passage of time. What secrets lie behind those ancient rooftops and cobblestone paths? What experiences await those who dare to wander deeper into Hallstatt's soul, hovering at 1,181 feet above the ground? The Hallstatt skywalk juts boldly into open space. From this ledge, the entire town and its surrounding lake stretch out in a breathtaking panorama that defies all sense of scale. In the heart of winter, Hallstatt transforms into a living snow globe. Rooftops are frosted white, the lake glistens under a frozen sheet, and the entire village seems to exhale silence, a vision seen only by those willing to endure the chill and stillness. Beneath its charming surface lies the world's oldest operational salt mine. This underground labyrinth has been in use for over 7,000 years, a living relic still whispering stories beneath the earth. Just beyond the village, Eckern Valley offers solitary travelers a path less taken. With hidden waterfalls, glacial streams, and a boulder garden, the trail demands both effort and reflection with every step. Home to only around 778 residents, Hallstatt embraces a rare stillness. Here, in the hush between stone and sky, even the most restless soul finds a place to pause and listen inward. Perched beneath towering snow-covered peaks and sheer alpine cliffs, Zermatt, located in the canton of Valais. Switzerland is not merely a destination. It is a fusion of grandeur and serenity, where nature and humanity exist in quiet harmony. Resting at an elevation of approximately 5,315 feet, this alpine haven feels like a world suspended, untouched by noise or rush. What lies behind the car-free lanes and timber chalets? What awaits when one dares to journey deeper into the heart of Zermatt from the summit of Gornergrat at 10,135 feet? The view explodes into a panorama of 29 peaks soaring above 13,000 feet, and the sweeping Gorner Glacier below a shock to every sense of scale. On winter mornings, the first rays of sunlight strike the Matterhorn's summit, igniting it in brilliant orange and crimson, a rare spectacle that vanishes within minutes, reserved for the early and the still. Zermatt harbors a quiet truth. No gasoline cars traverse its roads. Only electric vehicles and horse-drawn carriages preserve its peaceful rhythm, making silence part of its daily breath. The ascent to Hörnli Hut at 10,695 feet is more than a hike. It is a test of body and mind. Each footstep carves out humility. Each pause demands presence, with a close-knit community of around 5,800 residents. Zermatt offers a stillness rarely found. Beneath the weight of the mountains and the hush of snow, one hears something deeper, the sound of oneself, uninterrupted. Tucked between Arctic cliffs and still northern waters, Rhine located in Nordland County, Norway is far more than just a destination. It is a moment captured in silence, where the power of nature humbles every step. Sitting at an elevation of approximately 33 feet, this village feels like a threshold between reality and something untouched. What stories echo from the crimson cabins and snow-laced docks? What opens up when we dare to walk deeper into Rhine's quiet heart from the summit of Lauterbrunnen? At 1,470 feet, the entire village unfolds in a breathtaking spectacle. Sharp granite ridges plunging into fjords, the water dark and cold, cradling the coastline like glass. In winter, Rainer awakens in slow motion. Sunrises stretch for hours, painting the sky with layers of pink and pale gold are rare. Lingering light, seen only by those who brave the coldest hours. Rainer remains one of the few places where Råbøer traditional wooden fishermen's cabins still stand by the water's edge, unchanged by time, holding the scent of salt and silence. The hike to Lauterbrunnen is steep and slick, a short trail that demands both leg strength and mental focus. It's a climb that reshapes your sense of scale and strips away distraction. With fewer than 300 residents, Rainer is carved out of quiet. There are no crowds, no engine noise, only wind, water, and your own breath marking time. It is a stillness that speaks. Clinging to the rocky face of the Lucanian Dolomites, Castelmezzano, located in the region of Basilicata, Italy, is far more than a destination. It is a preserved fragment of time where humans and mountains coexist in mutual stillness. Sitting at an elevation of approximately 2,674 feet, this village feels like the modern world has vanished behind the ridgeline. There is no rush here, just the quiet rhythm of stone and wind, slowly unveiling layers of forgotten memory. From the mountaintop, Castelmezzano appears like a suspended painting, red-roofed homes stacked tightly into the cliffs, as if gravity itself has paused to admire them. On winter mornings, the first sunlight breaks across the rocky peaks in a sudden wash of golden fire, a fleeting moment reserved for those willing to wake early and wait in stillness. Castelmezzano is one of the rare villages that has preserved its medieval architecture, terracotta tiles, thick stone walls, and stairways that curl between narrow lanes with little regard for time. The ascent to surrounding peaks isn't long, but it's steep and winding, a physical and mental climb that strips away noise and leaves space for reflection. With a population of around 771 residents, Castelmezzano offers a silence that lingers. Here, the crunch of gravel beneath your boots and the occasional bird call are all the sound you need, because in this place, the quiet says everything. Suspended between sky and stone, Pietrapertosa, located in the region of Basilicata, Italy, is not just a destination. It is a threshold between the human world and an ancient realm of rock, where every step stirs a quiet sense of daring. Perched at an elevation of approximately 3,569 feet, this village clings to the mountainside, steady and defiant. No easy road leads here, only steep slopes, crumbling stone, and silences that reveal solitude, too, can be a rare privilege. From the highest ridges, Pietrapertosa reveals itself like a vertical labyrinth, rooftops gripping the cliffs. Alleyways carved into the mountain's ribs. On clear winter mornings, the first rays of sun skim across the rocky peaks, flooding the stone in gold and honey, a fleeting scene reserved for the still and patient. Time has overlooked this place. Pietrapertosa has preserved its medieval bones, rough stone walls, narrow stairways, and ancient footpaths forgotten by change. Climbing the high trails around the village is no tourist stroll. It's a physical and inward journey, where breath and silence push you past your limits and closer to awe. With a population of around 846, Pietrapertosa is a world of stillness. Here, silence doesn't mean emptiness. It is another form of presence, deeper and more enduring than words. Nestled beneath the towering peak of Mont Blanc, Chamonix, located in the Haute-Savoie region of France, is not merely a destination. It is where nature and humankind coexist, creating a space that is both powerful and serene. At an elevation of approximately 3,396 feet, this alpine town feels like a threshold between the modern world and something quieter. You don't need to move fast, just breathe with the rhythm of the mountains and let Chamonix reveal its wonders. From the summit of Aiguille du Midi, at 12,605 feet, the entire Alps unfurl before you, jagged, snow-draped peaks stretching endlessly in every direction. On crisp winter mornings, the first light strikes Mont Blanc in a blaze of color, a rare spectacle that appears only when clouds retreat and silence settles. Few remember that Chamonix hosted the first ever Winter Olympics in 1924, a historical milestone quietly embedded in its alpine charm. The hike to Lac Blanc is both a physical and reflective journey, where the trail winds through elevation and silence, and each step reminds you how small we are in the face of nature's scale. With a community of around 8,673 residents, Chamonix offers more than majestic views, it offers stillness. Here, amid snow, stone, and sky, you find space to slow down and reconnect not just with the world, but with yourself. Yet in the heart of the Veronese Oberland Valley, Grindelwald, located in the canton of Bern, Switzerland is a harmony of motion and stillness. It doesn't shout for attention, yet every peak and snowy field seems to whisper something fierce and true. At an elevation of approximately 3,392 feet, this alpine village becomes a place where people push their limits and then pause, just to breathe. Grindelwald doesn't reveal itself all at once. It's the kind of place that changes you, slowly, the longer you stay. From the summit of first at 7,112 feet. The view explodes into a panorama of forest, glacier, and sky, a horizon that seems carved for awe. On winter mornings, the first light touches the face of the Eiger, flooding the valley in gold, a moment of silent glory that feels like nature's reward for patience. Few recall that Grindelwald played host to the very first Winter Olympic Games in 1924, a quiet chapter in sporting history. The hike to Bachhauptsee is more than just a mountain walk. It's a test of body and breath. Each step a journey deeper into silence and snow among a community of around 3,801 residents. Grindelwald is carved into the rock, not as noise, but as stillness. Here, in the hush of alpine wind, you may discover that silence is not emptiness, it is your clearest echo. Quiet as an unwritten tale, Colle Santa Lucia, located in the Veneto region of Italy, feels like a fragment of ancient memory tucked within the Dolomites. Perched at an elevation of approximately 4,763 feet, this village seems untouched by time, as if the old laden legends still whisper through the mountain winds. This isn't a place you come to discover, it's a place that finds you, quietly, in the deeper corners of yourself. From the summit of Monte Pore, the Dolomites rise in a silent crescendo, snow-covered peaks unfolding like stone cathedrals beneath an open sky. On still winter mornings, the first light spills across Monte Pelmo, gilding the ridgeline in amber, a moment so brief and luminous it lives only in memory. Few travelers realize that Colle Santa Lucia keeps alive the ancient Ladine traditions through festivals that echo a time long past, yet still beating beneath the village's quiet rhythm. The ascent to Passo Giao is not one of speed, but of pause, a test of breath and intention, where every step invites silence and awe in equal measure. With a population of around 343 residents, Colle Santa Lucia offers more than scenery, it offers solitude. And here, far from highways and bright lights, you may come to understand that isolation is not about distance, it's about drawing nearer to what truly matters. Tucked at the far end of Val di Funes, Santa Maddalena, located in the Trentino Alto Adige region of Italy, is a quiet pause between nature and stillness. It doesn't demand attention, but at an elevation of approximately 4,393 feet, it draws you in, not with spectacle, but with something silent that stirs inside. Here, the trails don't lead to conquest, they invite you to listen. Every peak seems to whisper truths that words cannot hold. From the Panorama Weg Trail, the Odal Mountains rise like a hand-painted canvas, jagged peaks dusted in white, luminous against the sky. On crisp winter mornings, the first light pours across the Odal's ridges, gilding stone and snow in gold, a fleeting moment seen only by those awake in quiet. Each October, the village hosts the Speckfest, a traditional laden festival few outside the region know, but one that still pulses in the heart of its people. The trek into Puez Odle Nature Park is more than elevation gain, it's a silent passage. Each step moves through silence and into a landscape that reflects back the soul's weight. With a population of around 449 residents, Santa Maddalena offers not distraction, but peace. And perhaps here, in a place where simplicity reigns and sound steps aside, you'll find yourself closer to truths you never thought to ask. Pressed between sheer cliffs and deep water, Geiranger, located in the Møre og Romsdal region of Norway, is far more than a destination. It is tension disguised as stillness, a place where breathtaking beauty lives side by side with fragility. At just around 52 feet above sea level, the village feels suspended, as if it exists in a world that makes no promises. Not all beauty is peaceful, and that's what makes Geiranger unforgettable. From the summit of Dalsnibbe at 4,843 feet, the entire Geiranger fjord unfolds a narrow waterway framed by towering stone walls and glassy blue depths. In spring, the Seven Sisters waterfalls plunge from 820 feet high, 7 threads of white crashing down in one of nature's rarest performances. Yet behind this serenity lies Åkneset, a mountain with a growing fracture that could collapse, sending a tsunami racing toward the fjord. It's a silent threat the village lives with every day. The trek to the ancient farms of Skagflå and Knifsflå is not a tourist stroll. It's a challenge in sweat and solitude, clinging to stone trails that test breath, leg, and resolve. With a population of around 215, Geiranger is a place where stillness is not silence, but watchfulness. And in that quiet, surrounded by cliffs and water, you feel the strange peace of being small in a powerful world. Nestled in Val Gardena in northern Italy, Ottisei reveals itself like a vivid canvas where sharp dolomite peaks frame lush green valleys. Sitting at 4,055 feet above sea level, it's a meeting point between raw alpine might and deep-rooted cultural identity. Each step into this mountain town is a physical and reflective journey, peeling back layers of craft, history, and isolation. Ottisei doesn't explain itself easily. You must look closer, slow down, and fully engage. The jagged limestone ridgelines of Sisida erupt upward like stone blades. At dawn, the sunlight strikes them in a golden wash that feels too cinematic to be real. The scene is a vertical spectacle, pure, wild geometry cut into the sky. It is one of the Dolomite's most dramatic faces, a shock to the eyes and a pull to the spirit. In winter, fog rolls low into the valley and hangs there, silent and light, just after sunrise. The view becomes blurred, like an old film scene, brief, delicate, and haunting. Catching this moment requires stillness and luck, but once it appears, it feels like time stops. Ottisei's hidden soul lies in wood. It's the heart of laden wood-carving tradition, where each figure is hand-cut, chisel by chisel, with stories of mountain life etched into every groove. The detail, passed down for generations, speaks louder than words. The hike up Mount Raskiesa demands muscle and breath. It's not just about reaching the top, it's a lone walk through pine and silence. Each switchback takes you higher into thought and further from distraction. The view from the summit is earned, wide, and grounding. Among tall evergreens, the Church of San Giacomo stands untouched by time. It's a space of complete quiet, where footsteps feel like whispers. This is not a tourist stop. It's a moment of inner stillness, where even the mountains seem to hold their breath. You will not find Gavani by looking down. You have to look up and keep looking up until your neck stiffens and that quiet, humbling sense of smallness starts to rise in your chest, tucked deep in the southwestern mountains of France. Gavani is not a place you visit just to say you've been. It is where your eyes get tested, your limits are pushed, and your sense of scale gets rewritten. In front of it, you are not a traveler, you are a witness. Gavani is surrounded by a natural rock wall that towers nearly 5,000 feet high, a massive, almost circular formation that can be seen in full from a single standing point. Its main waterfall drops straight down from a height of over 1,380 feet, more than twice the height of the Washington Monument. The rock layers across Gavani were formed over 500 million years ago, yet from a distance they appear so evenly stacked, it feels like someone arranged them by hand. There is no road that brings you directly to the main site. Every journey requires a hike of at least 2,500 feet on foot, across shifting trails and uneven terrain. At sunset, the entire stone amphitheater casts a sweeping shadow across the valley below in under 5 minutes, as if someone flipped a switch and turned off the light. No sound, no warning, just darkness falling like a curtain. Located in northern Romania, in the rolling highlands of the Carpathian Mountains, Ciocanesti is unlike any other village you'll find on the map. From above, it sits neatly inside a natural basin at more than 2,000 feet in elevation, surrounded on all sides by hills that rise over 4,000 feet, like nature itself meant to seal it shut. The village holds more than 300 homes, each painted with traditional patterns. No two are the same. Many of the hand-painted motifs stretch longer than 12 feet across the front facades, creating the feeling that you are walking through a street-sized gallery designed for those who still care about detail. At the center of the village stands a single house with a wooden door, taller than 10 feet. Every inch is hand-carved. There are no repeats, no mirrored designs, only one slow, deliberate language of craftsmanship preserved in silence. From the end of the village, a dirt path stretches more than 1,800 feet up a quiet slope. At the end, there is a cemetery. There are no lights, no signs, nothing but grass, stone, and the feeling that people here still walk slowly toward endings. When the church bell rings, the sound carries beyond 600 feet without echoing back, because the basin does not just hold the village, it holds the sound too. Dzembronia is a remote village located in western Ukraine, high in the Carpathian Mountains. It sits at more than 3,300 feet above sea level. There are no paved roads leading into its center. The landscape is open, elevated, and completely detached from modern traffic. A dirt road, more than 2,800 feet long, is the only access to the village. When snowfall rises above 2 feet, the road becomes too slippery and dangerous to use. Near the middle of the village stands a pinewood chapel, almost 35 feet tall. It has no door lock and no glass in the windows. Despite this, it remains in regular weekly use. There are no streetlights. There are no lampposts. There is no cell signal within a range of more than 1,500 feet around the village. At night, all paths disappear into full darkness. On cold nights, a dog barking or a church bell can be heard from more than 800 feet away. The mountain air and silence allow sound to travel without resistance. Dzembronia does not offer convenience. It offers space, stillness, and a kind of quiet that begins where the modern map ends. Chalets is located in southern Serbia, sitting at more than 2,000 feet above sea level. The village is surrounded by 3 mountain ranges, each rising over 4,500 feet. The peaks form a natural enclosure, and the entire valley feels locked in, cut off from roads, sound, and city light. A stone road, more than 2,400 feet long, runs from the center of the village to a natural overlook. The path has a slope of more than 20 degrees and no safety railings. The final steps open directly onto a sharp forest drop. An old storage barn in the village has a wooden ceiling nearly 25 feet high. The entire frame is held together with hand-fitted wood joints. No nails were used in its construction. There are no public streetlights in Chalets. From 7 o'clock in the evening onward, all walking paths fall into full darkness. The entire village goes dark, and movement depends on memory or moonlight. On windy nights, the air creates a sharp sound as it cuts through the straw rooftops. This sound can be heard from more than 150 feet away. Sometimes the wind continues for hours. Other times, it halts suddenly, as if it were waiting for something to answer back. Chalets does not speak loudly. It waits behind rock and wind for you to be quiet first. Castel del Monte is located in southern Italy, standing at more than 2,100 feet above sea level. It sits alone on a bare hilltop, overlooking flat land in all directions. From a distance, it appears precise, detached, and deliberately positioned. The castle has 8 identical corners. Each tower rises more than 80 feet. There are no drawbridges. There are no moats. Its shape appears defensive, but there are no systems in place for defense. A covered corridor, shaped like a perfect octagon, surrounds the main courtyard. It stretches more than 180 feet in total length. Every side is equal. Every corner turns at an exact angle. No houses, fences, or structures exist within a radius of over 1,000 feet. There are no settlements nearby. The landscape around it is completely open. When standing in the center of the courtyard, sound returns from all 8 directions. There is a clear delay in every step and spoken word. It feels designed, but there is no explanation for it. Castel del Monte does not present itself as sacred or political. It gives no reason for being. It simply remains built with precision, surrounded by silence, and holding on to questions. Civita di Bagnoregio is located in central Italy, sitting on a rock formation that rises more than 1,400 feet above the surrounding land. The village is surrounded by deep ravines on three sides. From a distance, it looks like a settlement floating above empty space. The only access to the village is a pedestrian bridge that stretches more than 1,000 feet in length. No vehicles are allowed. There is no roof, no high guardrails. Anyone entering the village must walk the full length of the bridge, exposed to wind and elevation. Several homes sit close to the cliff edge. The foundation of some structures is less than 20 feet from a vertical drop. There are no retaining walls or reinforcements. Beneath them is open air and a long fall to the bottom. On cold mornings, when the temperature drops below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, heavy fog rises from the valley and covers the entire village. Within minutes, Civita disappears into the clouds. From the bridge, the village appears suspended in the sky. Fewer than 10 people live in Civita year-round. Most are elderly. They grow their own food, manage their homes, and rely on no modern services. The village does not run on commerce. It endures through stillness. Civita di Bagnoregio is not preserved by walls or technology. It is held together by space, distance, and the kind of silence that does not need to explain itself. Ondradal is a small village in western Norway, located at an elevation of less than 100 feet above sea level. It is tightly enclosed between steep mountain walls that rise more than 3,000 feet and the still surface of a fjord. There is no room to expand. There is no need to. The village has only one road, stretching more than 1,200 feet from end to end. There are no sidewalks. There are no traffic lights. The road is narrow, just wide enough for a single vehicle to move slowly, while pedestrians step aside into doorways when needed. At the center stands a small wooden church that rises more than 30 feet. It has no electricity. Candles are used for every ceremony, and the flickering light dances against the wood panels. This is the smallest functioning church in Norway, and no plan has ever been made to modernize it. On cold mornings, when the temperature falls below 30 degrees Fahrenheit, sea fog rises from the fjord and settles into the village, reducing visibility to less than 30 feet for hours. Trees, rooftops, and people disappear into a soft, grey curtain. At night, when no boats are expected, the village goes completely dark. There are no streetlights. There is no ambient glow. The only remaining light comes from handheld lamps. What remains is mountain, water, and the full absence of the modern world. Ísafjörður is a coastal town in northwestern Iceland, located at an elevation of less than 50 feet above sea level. It is enclosed on three sides by sheer cliffs that rise more than 2,000 feet, pressing the town tightly against the water with no clear exit. The only land access to Ísafjörður is a narrow road, stretching more than 2 miles through the base of the surrounding mountains. There is no opposing traffic lane and no safety pullouts. Drivers must manage their speed and visibility at all times. The town's small domestic airport has a runway just over 1,800 feet long, wedged between two snowy mountain walls. There are no barriers on either side. During landing, the aircraft passes between sheer rock faces with only narrow clearance. In winter, daylight lasts for less than 3 hours. The remaining time is either dim, pale light, or near total darkness. Night is not a time period. Here it is, the default setting. When storm warnings sound, the siren can be heard from more than 1 mile away if the wind is calm. The tone is not frightening. It simply reminds you that in this place, nature does not accommodate human timing. Sappada is a mountain village in northern Italy, located at an elevation of more than 4,100 feet above sea level. It is surrounded by sheer mountain walls and steep forested slopes that have never been commercially developed. From above, the village appears closed in by terrain that does not shift. A narrow stone path, less than 6 feet wide, connects two sections of the settlement. Locals walk it daily, even when the surface is frozen. There are no railings. There is no alternative. Several old wooden homes in the village stand taller than 25 feet. They were built entirely by hand using local timber. No metal nails were used. They remain in place through traditional wood joinery and the patience of those who raised them. There are no streetlights in the historic part of the village. After dark, all light comes from oil lamps inside windows or from the moon reflecting off the snow. The night is not dimmed. It is full and real. On windless nights, the sound of the church bell can carry more than 800 feet. The tone travels across cold air and firm snow without echo. It is not a call. It is confirmation that Sappada is still there, untouched by time. The villages of the Funes Valley in northern Italy sit at elevations ranging from more than 3,000 feet to above 4,000 feet. They are enclosed by mountain ridges with peaks that rise higher than 8,000 feet. The entire region feels like a natural basin where light and sound are held in place. Many of the stone paths connecting the villages are narrower than 8 feet. There are no railings. Once the snow begins to fall in early winter, these roads remain covered for weeks. The surface is slippery and unpredictable. In the smallest villages, there are no streetlights. After 6 o'clock in the evening during winter, all light disappears. The area returns to full natural darkness. Doors close early, and movement slows to nearly nothing. Many of the traditional wooden houses in this area rise taller than 20 feet. They are constructed using large beams, locked together without cement or metal nails. These homes are made to endure, not to adapt. During winter, sunlight reaches the valley floor for only about 3 hours each day due to the high ridgelines on both sides. Most of the day remains in dim or gray light, never bright enough to reach the streets. That quiet haze gives the valley the feeling of being disconnected from the outside world. Some places stay with you even after the screen fades. Which village stirred something in you? Was it the thunder of Lauterbrunnen, the stillness of Rhine, or the morning light over the Matterhorn? Tell us in the comments what moment made you pause And where should we go next, together, if this journey spoke to you? Leave a like, subscribe, and join us again, because this is only the beginning. There are more unseen places, more quiet paths, more stories waiting to be heard and felt. Until then, keep listening to the silence. It knows the way back.